Yeah.
My first breakfast that I have here.
Oh, you're talking about breakfast. I'm going to get oh, I'm not telling you.
Oh, another surprise.
I'm gonna use that for cooking.
You know, Pook's terrible at keeping secrets. If I push her now, I'll find out exactly what this secret is. And she's off before I start, she's off. But honestly, I guarantee I could have 30 seconds and I would get the secret out of her, whatever it is she's thinking of doing. Let's go and have some breakfast, shall we? Hi everyone, I thought I'd give you a little look around the kitchen before it's almost finished now. There's a few fittings to go in there, but while it's quiet here, I thought I'd come in and just shoot a little video showing you how far the guys have got with the kitchen. Now the thing is, the reason it's so quiet here at the moment, usually this time in the morning the place is just waking up. You've got the guys who are staying here or just over the road. They're usually sitting around having their breakfast, getting ready for their day's work. But at the moment, a lot of them, they went back down to Chonburi to finish off a few bits and pieces that they had, and they've been locked down. They can't move, you know what I mean? They can't come back up here because of the COVID crisis thing kicking off again. So it's a little bit frustrating, sure, that, you know, the guys can't get back here and finish off, but what does it matter in the whole grand scheme of things? If we have to wait a few weeks or even a few months, doesn't matter. You know, the people who are in charge are doing what they think's best to try and bring things back under control again, and so be it, you know. But yeah, let me show you around what the guys have done. They've done an absolutely amazing job. This kitchen is absolutely beautiful, it really is. Let me show you around. So let me show you what they've done here. We've got these beautiful, beautiful, natural looking stone tiles. It just looks like it's been cut straight out of the quarry and just shaped, and that's it. They really are stunning. And then this tile top, it's a gloss finish, so it's easy to clean. Beautiful little edging they've put on here. We managed to find this. Most of the edging pieces we saw are like a bright, shiny chrome finish or an aluminium finish, but this, it's like a pewter finish, and I just think it goes really nicely with the greys. Matches in beautiful. You see there. This area here, this is where the washing machine's going. So you've got the feed there and the drain there. They'll cut those pipes down, obviously, when we start to sort things out here. And then these little cabinets, they're great, they really are. So what you do, you build this blockwork with the same bricks or leftover bricks that you've got from the house build, and then they cover with these tiles. And you just leave an aperture for this cupboard. So you can see it's this thick and it's already built. You buy it in the shop like this, and they're cheap, they really are cheap. I'll sort out the prices at the end of the build. I'm going to do all of the prices in one go, because I can never remember anything. Pook's the one who can latch on to all the prices and keep track of everything. So yeah, you've got these. So they build the blockwork with the aperture, and the tiler makes sure it's absolutely perfect. This tiler guy we had, spot on, he really is good. And then inside, it's all lined with these white tiles that have been left over, and these floor tiles the same to match. So it's so easy to keep clean, very hygienic. Just give it a wipe round with a cloth every now and then, and it's just so easy to maintain, it really is. And these doors, like I say, they're only cheap units, but they've got the soft close on them as well. Absolutely perfect. So we've got the single cupboard there, quite small. We've got the double cupboard here. Exactly the same with the tiles inside. We've got a single cupboard door here. There wasn't room to put the double. There's an electric junction box there. That goes right round the corner there. So things that you don't use in the kitchen too often, they can be tucked around the side there out the way. We've got this little drawer unit here for I can get it open. I haven't put the handles on yet. For the cutlery, knives, forks, spoons, that kind of thing. And a deep drawer there for storing things. In the UK, that's where you end up with all your instruction booklets for the microwave, for the toaster, all the guarantee slips. Rubbish that you never ever use again, but you always seem to keep it in one of these drawers. I don't know why. This cupboard here, well, this area here, this is going to be for the double sink. And that'll be fitted as soon as the plumbers get back up here, as soon as they can. We're just waiting for the plumbers and the carpenters at the moment to finish the doors off inside. So, a double cupboard here under the sink. And you can see the water feed there, the waste going out. And then there's a plug socket there, that's for the water heater that's going under here. Plus, we've got it with the double socket there because we're considering having a water filtration system here. Not sure what type we're having yet, but we've got the power there if we want it, and then we can just have that coming straight up to the sink and have a separate tap here for the purified water, so that's drinking water. And the main tap will be here for washing up and everything else connected to the water heater, hot and cold water. And the sink we've got, it's got a little pump thing there for hand wash or washing up liquid, whatever you want in it. And it's got a little plastic container underneath the sink that you can top up. So yeah, that's all ready for the sink unit to go in. Another cupboard the same as the rest. And then this one here, something you don't get in the West, is the gas bottle cupboard, which is why it comes down lower than the rest. So you don't have to hump the gas bottle up over a ridge. So that's ready there. Oh, we've got this breaker unit, these wires in here, you see, they're going to go into this breaker unit. And the reason for that is this aperture here is for the European oven. So we wanted a breaker unit somewhere other than, obviously you didn't want to stick it behind the oven. So the breaker unit for that's going to be in there. This is where the European oven's going to go. Of course, if ever there's a short or anything, that'll trip out in there. And then this area here is going to be for the hob. We've got a 3-ring hob going in here, black glass, looks absolutely stunning. And that's why the tiles are higher in this area. As a splashback against, while you're cooking, any fat or anything like that will come against these, it'll be easier to clean. And then above it, we've got that socket there. That's going to be hidden by the chimney of the cooker hood. So that's going up there, and the cooker hood, although it's an outside kitchen, we didn't really need it. We're still going to vent it outside through that wall. So we're going to have a pipe, flexible pipe going out through that wall to a vent outside. And that way any cooking smells or smoke or anything like that will get vented straight outside the building and help keep the ceiling clean. Ceiling fan's in place, 5-speed ceiling fan, never seen that before. Yeah, 5-speed, all the little lights they've put in. These LED lights are great as well, sealed units, so you'll never get any mosquitoes or flies dying in there. They're sealed, they can't get in. So nice and easy to maintain. And if ever one goes, I mean, they've got a really good guarantee on them, but if any of these go, blow for any reason, you just pull that down, unplug the little socket on the wire thing. It's got a built-in transformer on the wire. Get a new one, just plug a new one in, like you would a light bulb. But they've got a really long life apparently, so they'll probably see me out, I would think.
Morning.
Oh, here we go. Hello. You're late. I'm going to dock your pay. Oh dear, be careful. Have to get the carpet fitters in to fit that carpet down properly for us. Look at that, that's dangerous on the stairs. Just tidying up these door frames and finishing everything off. Let's put the light on in here. These are the doors we've gone for, Leo Wood, that made by a company called Leo Wood. Available in most of the stores, the home improvement stores around here. So yeah, that's the door that's going on. Every single door is exactly the same, 80 centimetres wide. And the stair rails arrived. So today, we've got the guys installing the stainless steel stair rail up here. Quick run through of this, we've got the cooker hood in place. and all wired in, and it's vented outside that wall. So any fumes or smoke or heat will be taken out there. It's a really good, powerful cooker hood as well. Hobs in place, ovens in place, all the units are done, sinks in place, hot and cold water, and it's got the that flow on there. Little pump dispenser for either soap or washing up liquid, whatever you want. Love that sink. I love these sharp edges. Really nice design, I think. Great design. Now, I challenge anyone to tell me that they've gone through a project like we've gone through building this house, and to say that they haven't had any, or they didn't have any problems or any disagreements with the builder throughout. And we're no different. There were a few disagreements and there were a few problems. Only a few, but one of them was really serious. And I'll go through that now and I'll show you exactly what the problem was. Now, to start with, there was no doubts or no concerns regarding the roof build over the kitchen, the roof terrace. The steelwork was pretty substantial and it was all looking good. Then they put down a 9mm comboard, which is like a concrete composite board. That seemed a little bit thin to me, but I was assured everything was okay. Then, first bit of rain we had, before they had a chance to do anything else, of course, rain came through that. Then they started using bitumen tape to seal up some of the joints and some of the screw holes where it was fitted. And I just didn't feel comfortable with it, and I was voicing my concerns throughout. But I was told right the way through, no, it'll be okay, let's finish the job, it'll be okay. Once the comboard was on, and we had some rain, we noticed that there was an area, a hollow area, over near where the steps going down to the garden were going to be. And the rain was just laying there, settling there. Now, I'm not a builder, but I know that that's no good. You've got a flat roof, and you have a gathering of water like that. It's the worst thing ever. The water should just run straight off the roof. You shouldn't have it sitting there for any given period of time. So, anyway, that was done, but no, reassured it was all going to be okay. When the comboards were going to be put on, they're a bit like shearer boards. They're like these big, thick, if you imagine floorboards made out of a concrete composite. But again, I was still concerned because they just have a flat edge. If they were tongue and groove, then maybe I might think, okay, there's a good chance that they'll seal it. But the fact that they were just butting together on a flat edge, again, had me concerned and worried about the leaks. In the end, I just decided to go with it. And after all, if it was going to continue leaking, there's no way they would leave it like it. They'd have to do something about it and fix the problem. And so they went ahead and fitted these comboards, and they continued with the kitchen downstairs, fitting the ceiling and installing the lights. Once they'd finished laying the comboard and sealing it, it looked okay. But the next morning we had a reasonable amount of rain, not a real heavy downpour, but a reasonable amount of rain. And straight away you could see those low spots on the roof. And it wasn't just a little tiny bit of water, it was almost a centimetre deep. Now, down in the kitchen, the inevitable was happening. The water had started seeping through the plasterboard in the ceiling. Now, a little later, Brian came round, had a look at it, and it was at this point that we both agreed that the whole of that roof terrace area would have to be rethought and redesigned. So we all went away, and Pook and I found these designs on Google, and liked the look of it, and just seemed like a good idea. So, sitting down and speaking with Brian again, we decided that the way forward would be to initially put down a membrane, a thick plastic membrane, the type of thing they use in swimming pools and in ponds. Put the membrane down first, and then over the top of that, put a layer of concrete. And that concrete would have a good mix of the waterproofing agent that you can use in concrete, giving it more waterproofing properties. And then on top of that, we would have ceramic tiles. Again, they would be fixed with waterproof adhesive that they use. And then down each side of the roof terrace, we would have a 2-inch curb right the way down the sides, and so that there'd be no water that could run off the sides of the roof terrace. And the other thing we stipulated was that there would be a good fall from the house down towards the garden end of the roof. allowing the water to run off really fast without any of it sitting on top of the roof terrace. And this is the work in progress. So initially they laid down that membrane, built the 2-inch curbstones either side, and that's going to stop any water running off the side. And then down the far end, that's just where the water will drop off into a guttering that we're going to have fitted. And here you can see they're putting down, it's only a thin layer of concrete they're putting down there, but it's got that's what he's adding right now. It's that waterproofing agent that they put in cement, giving it a good dose of that and helping towards any rain being prevented or any water being prevented from going through into the kitchen area. Once the cement was dry, the tilers laid out the tiles dry just so that we could see the pattern, the design, just make sure that we liked it, how they were going to actually fix the tiles down. We asked that the same 2 guys who tiled the house come back and tile the roof of the kitchen, this roof terrace. They're both really, really good, excellent tilers. And once they were finished, they set the laser up just to show us that there's a 6 centimetre fall from the house going down towards the far end of the roof terrace, down towards the garden. And this time the roof terrace seems perfect. It's a place where Pook and I spend every evening when we're at home, just sitting here watching this spectacle. Absolutely incredible place to sit and watch the sunset. And I'm sure that once we get some furniture up here, some garden furniture, we'll be probably having most of our meals up here too. It's a beautiful place to sit and relax. And this is a momentous occasion, a big, big day for us here. Look at this. Pookie's prepping the food. She's cooking her first meal here. We got the gas tank today.
Gas bottle.
So yeah, the gas bottle. So now we've got a gas bottle, we can actually cook. The oven was working, that was all rigged up with the electric. But yeah, so now we can actually cook meals here. We don't have to keep running around to Pook's brother and breaking into his fridge. What are you cooking, Pookie?
Green chicken curry.
Lovely.
And I
hope it tastes as good here as it does around your brother's. Do you think it will? I hope so. Otherwise we're going back round your brother's for you to cook there.
You can go back there.
But you cook, you've got to come with me. What's that? Curry paste?
Mm-hmm.
And coconut milk and chicken. So when you're cooking this, you don't have to fry the chicken a bit first, you just cook it in the mix?
Depends how you like really. Depends on that. I don't have any like, how to say that, what to be did that. But you can fry the chicken to cook first and then add green curry and then coconut milk after. Can you smell it?
It smells lovely. All done, Pookie?
Huh?
All done?
Yeah. Enjoy.
Wow, look at that. You see, Pookie used to serve it up to me in 2 bowls. You get the green curry in one and the rice in another.
I'm cutting down now.
No, I prefer it like this. I like it a bit like a soup. Healthy eating again. Edamame beans and scrambled egg for breakfast, we'll get some. And then just eating healthy little meals like this. Maybe even just going back to eating twice a day. Anyway, I've got to put this camera down, so I'm just looking forward to eating this now. As with any build, there's a few teething problems and a few faults that need sorting out. So we need Brian to come back just to sort them out for us, and I'll quickly run through them just to show you the kind of things that you can expect to go wrong when you're having a house built. But the problem is Brian at the moment is stuck down in Chonburi. He had to go back down there on business. and he's not been able to get back because of quarantine now. There's quarantine if he comes up to Udon Thani, so I don't know when it's going to happen. Nothing major, it can wait. But just a few little bits and pieces now for him to finish completely and sign the job off. So just showing you around a little bit, some of the things that we need Brian to look at. We got this cracking here where the new wall that they built joins the existing house. Up there, and along here where the existing balcony was and the new roof terrace. Now, I fully expected that. I can remember as a kid, we were actually privileged enough to get a brand new council masonette one time, and you weren't allowed to decorate for, I don't know if it was 6 months or a year, because they wait for the place to settle, look for these cracks, repair them, and then you're allowed to decorate. So yeah, little cracks like that I expected. Brian's already said that he'll do them. In fact, when he was here last time, he said, I'll get them done. I said, well, look, leave them for a while, Brian. Let it all settle down. Let them get as bad as they're going to get, and then we'll deal with them then. You see, it goes along there. But like I said, I expected that. That's solid concrete joined to the house itself. This here is the roof terrace, and I did expect that. So that needs sorting out a bit later on. That's going to be about 6 months though, so we're not too worried about that for now. In this downstairs shower room, we can't put the glass walls up, upstairs or down, simply because we've got a leak in the ceiling here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me tell you what, let me turn the light off, it might be easier to spot it. There you go. So you can see the stain on the ceiling there. So we've got water coming through from upstairs somewhere. Don't know where it is, but I think he's going to have to cut into that ceiling and have a look and see what's going on up there. So that's a job that needs doing. Okay, under this sink here we've got a very slight leak, and it seems to be, it doesn't happen when the tap's not running, it's only when the tap's running, so it's got to be this outlet. Probably this seal here, or maybe where it connects underneath there somewhere, but you can feel that water running down there now. Very, very slight, so there's something else that is going to have to be sorted. Like I say, you expect these kind of things. You have a massive project like this, a complete house build, and there's going to be little bits and pieces like this that need tidying up. So that's something else. And also I'm doing this as a reminder for me, just so I don't forget everything that needs doing. So that's that little bit under the sink there. Out here on the roof terrace, we've started to get little patches of rust coming through on these railings. Now, this was my game years ago. I used to have garages renovating vehicles, and so I know about painting metalwork, and it didn't really seem that good to me what they did, but I just let it ride, and it's not a problem. It's not that it's going to rot through and fall apart, but this has obviously got to be sorted out. The paint they used just wasn't really substantial enough, or there wasn't enough put on there. A bit of rust coming through up here as well. So yeah, these railings are going to need rubbing down, more primer putting on, and repainting. A bit more substantial thickness of paint on there. If you can actually see this, but we've got the tiling right the way across the roof terrace, absolutely great. But then around the edges here, this is going to need sorting out. That needs filling and painting. I know they do like an acrylic filler that they put over bare concrete, so I'm thinking maybe just levelling off with that acrylic filler right the way round to give it a smooth finish, and then that needs priming and painting. But that was the tilers were here doing what they were doing. They actually finished that edge off there, and it obviously isn't their job to do that. Brian was away down in Chonburi. His workers were on other projects, so that hasn't been done yet, but that's something that is going to need looking at. It's not a fault, it's just something that's have not managed to do yet. And this is the most annoying thing that's got to be sorted out as soon as possible. I spoke to Brian about it and hoping that he can get a pressure test done. The water is leaking somewhere, obviously. It's only going to be a small leak somewhere. But because of that, the pressure drops on this pump and it keeps kicking in and out. So what I'll do, I'll start filming this when it cuts out the next time, like when it kicks in and then cuts out, and I'll put a timer on it and I'll show you exactly what it's doing. Strange thing is, sometimes it cycles quicker than other times. Now, I don't know if that's based on an airlock wherever the leak is, or if it's down to temperature. If the days are hotter, it sometimes seems that the cycle is longer. Could be that the pipe's expanding a little bit, but anyway, I'll show you exactly what I mean. And I'll time it on my phone. If you, yeah, you can see that. Okay, so here we go. And as it cuts off, start. Pookie, don't turn any taps on, will you? Don't turn any taps on. I'm just timing the pump, just showing people what's going on. And the other thing is, I mean, we've run some tests on this. We've turned every single valve off that we can think of, other than the valve that comes out of the pump, obviously. You turn the valve off, I'll show you in a minute. You turn the valve off where the water comes out of the pump into the house, the first valve, so it isolates the pump, and it doesn't cycle. It just sits, doesn't start up at all. So it's not a fault with the pump. And we've tried turning everything off in the house, and still it's happening. So there's got to be a leak. I'm just hoping it's not underneath this kitchen floor. I think I better speed this up a little bit. And there it goes. It was about 1 minute 15, I think it was, and it's off again. So you see, 1 minute 15. It drives you mad. It really does. When you're sitting in the kitchen having something to eat, you've just got to turn the thing off, because it just gets right on your nerves. Plus we're using electricity, plus we're using water. I don't suppose it's going to be a great amount, but every 1 minute 15, you can't leave that. Something's got to be done with this. And so this is the water pipe that comes out of the pump, okay? And this valve here completely isolates the pump itself. You turn this valve off and it doesn't cycle at all. So the pump, absolutely fine. But it's where water, and it's not the garden tap coming off this one. We've isolated that separate. This goes down underground. That's the worrying part. And that goes into the house. Now let me just show you what I've spoken to Brian about. Again, just waiting for Brian to come back up here so we can do a test on it. So at the moment, downstairs and upstairs are joined together here. You've got the pipe work coming underground here. It goes off to where the washing machine's going to go. It goes off to where the sink is there. Yeah, it's off again. And then it goes up in this box section here. That goes to upstairs, but there's nothing to isolate upstairs and downstairs. So what we're going to do, and like I say, I spoke to Brian about this, is put this in place in there. So that way we can, the pipe that goes to the upstairs, we can turn this valve off and that isolates upstairs and downstairs, and then we can do individual tests on both levels, up and down. And hopefully we can do a pressure test and see where the leak is. Now I'm absolutely praying that it's going to be downstairs, because then that way it's going to be easier for us to fix it. Let me just explain. At the moment we've got the water tank here and it's covered with this. This isn't like a little TP tent for me to play in. I've covered it with this green stuff here to keep it cool, because it's in direct sunlight all day long. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this up to the end of the garden up there. We're going to put a separate little building up there, and that's going to house the water pump and the water tank. We're going to get another tank this size. We're going to have 2 water tanks and the water pump in their own little building to keep them cool and to do away with that noise of the pump kicking in and out. So imagine if the leak is downstairs, we can run, we're going to have to run new pipe down here anyway. We can run new pipe down here, underground, round the side of the house there to the path, and then it's a simple case of just coming through the wall with those new pipes. We can come through there. This is where the water comes in at the moment, and that's buried underneath this kitchen. So we can actually bring a new pipe through here, seal this one off, and then that will be the new water supply for the sink and this water heater. Washing machine, oh, there's something else as well. Washing machine, doesn't matter about that, what we've already got. We're going to have another building here. I'll say a building, we're going to have a covered area here. That's going to house the washing machine, and it's going to be a drying area. So we can dry clothes even if it's raining, and have the washing machine out there, out the way. Again, if you've got the washing machine running, you don't want that if you're sitting down in the kitchen eating a meal. So the washing machine's going to go up there. So that can just tee off of that pipe coming out of the watershed. So that'll be that sorted out. And then it's just a case of coming through the wall out here into this box section to feed into the upstairs pipe. Now, it sounds like a lot of work, but really I don't think it is. And it's off again. So it sounds like a lot of work, but I don't think it is for the downstairs. If, however, it's upstairs, that's a totally different story. That is going to be so difficult. We're going to have tiles off the wall retiled, all sorts of stuff going on. So I'm praying that it's not upstairs. I'm hoping that it's downstairs. Okay, what else needs doing? Just, I'm absolutely amazed at the amount of work that we've had done here with that kitchen area and finishing off with the tiling and everything. This is all we've got in waste. You see the cut tiles there and things like that. Hardly any waste at all. So obviously that's another thing that Brian will deal with when he gets up here. Get rid of that bit of waste for us, and that will clear that area. Then Pook and her mum can start landscaping the garden. Now, talking about that water leak, one thing that concerns me about whether the leak's up here or not is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a patch here. It looks like a damp patch there, and it's along here, right the way along here, indicating that there's some kind of water ingression in that corner there. And also on the outside, hello, also on the outside wall. I'll go downstairs and show you exactly what I mean. You can see it a little bit here, but you can see it more when you're downstairs. But what I'm wondering is if this could be the cause of that. You can see where the balcony, where this edging has been finished off by the tilers, there's actually a gap between the original building and those tiles. So again, I'm hoping that that is the cause of that damp patch that's showing there. Praying it's that. I'm hoping it's not the pipe work that's leaking here, because that's going to be a job and a half. Because just behind this wall here, you've got pipe work coming up. It comes along here. It goes, let me think. The cold water supply goes up to the shower, which is around about here, this area. Comes along here. It goes along to a little valve here for the toilet and the little spray gun. It comes along here, goes under the sink. And then from there, we've got green pipe for the hot water coming back from the water heater, back along here and up here for the shower. So you can imagine that's a different story. That, I don't know, the only way you can deal with that, I think, is taking the render off of here, running the pipe work in the brickwork on the outside to fill over it, and then I'm pretty sure that you're still going to have to take tiles off on the inside of the bathroom. I don't want to go through that process. That's going to be a lot of work, and things that we don't really want that. So I'll pop downstairs and I'll show you that damp patch outside. So that damp patch, I don't know if you can actually see it from down here, but if you look at that line that runs along the same level as where the balcony area is, there's like a damp patch that runs right the way back almost to that window that's on the stairway. And it doesn't seem to go any further. So there's two options there, I think. That is either coming from that little crack I'll try and zoom in on that and see if you can see it, but where the edge of that balcony is, where the tiling's finished there and where it joins the wall, there's like a gap there, and that could be where the water's going through. Hopefully. That's the best case scenario, just deal with that. In fact, you can see just to the left of that drain pipe there, you can see the dark patch, and that's where the dampness is. And there's a bigger patch over here though, that's what surprises me. Just here. But yeah, so that's best case scenario. If it's that little gap there, it's easily solved with some of that flexible sealer that can go in there, or the acrylic filler that they use. Not acrylic, it's like an epoxy resin. Worst case scenario is if it's that shower area that's leaking. That's going to be a bigger job. So there you go. The actual house build is finished, complete. These other little jobs that need doing, I'll keep you up to speed on that, let you know when Brian's back, and let you know how it works out, how we managed to resolve that water leak problem and everything else. I'll cover that in other videos. I didn't want to end on a negative note, so let's go back to that beautiful sunset and what Pook and I have to look forward to every evening. Thanks very much for watching. Please remember to hit subscribe, and if you hit the notification bell, you'll get the heads up as and when we post new videos. And we'll be back again soon with another video showing you what life's like living here in Udon Thani, Thailand.